guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and this week marks the launch of the Love is in the Air holiday for World of Warcraft, though this time revamped for the War Within expansion, which means that we now can collect additional rewards this time around, with even new items for you to collect on the new vendors. With the holiday available for only 2 weeks, you have a very limited window to be able to collect and grab up all of the newest items before they are gone. So for this video specifically, I wanted to do an updated guide on how to maximize your gains for the Love is in the Air holiday, get all of the new mounts, all of the rewards, and farm up all of those items very quickly. And in fact, you can actually get most of these items outside of mounts, unless you get lucky, all in a single day, in a single setting, if you have a decent number of alts that you play on the side. Don't necessarily have to do max level alts either. So this video is going to go over the entire holiday and how to maximize it in the War Within expansion. As always, if you guys want to see more regular updates and guides like these for this expansion, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. So the big holiday, which is going to be available for a very limited amount of time, got a bunch of new rewards this time around, but also a new way for you to be able to farm up a bunch of currency to purchase literally everything in a single day, if that is what you choose to do. One of the new mounts that got added is one of the Broom mounts, one that's available over on the trading post right now, but this is another chance for you to be able to get another Broom mount, which is a Love Witch's Swooper mount. Where the trading post one is more red with the Silvermoon colors, this one has more of the Love is in the Air Valentine's Day color scheme to it. And this mount is a second mount that you can now earn from the dungeon during Love is in the Air, with the first one being the Heartbreaker Rocket, which is still to this day one of the rarest mounts that's available through any of the holidays within the in-game, or actually I think within majority of boss drops, this is one of the rarest mounts that's available. Both of these mounts do have a higher drop rate the first time you do the dungeon, however, so at the very least it is confirmed that the drop from the boxes, and it's also possible to get both of these mounts. At least some players, handful of you, have been very lucky to get both in a single drop. This holiday also features 2 new additions, such as the Living Rose pet. If you're someone who's big into pets, this is a new pet that you can now purchase for not too many love tokens, but also an ensemble of truly heartfelt shoulders, which have more of this. They're very similar to the Slayer shoulders, but not quite. They have this heart badge looking thing, or like a pin added to it, but they have a very similar shape to them. And there's 2 versions. You have like this cape version, but also you have the spalders, which have more of this like metallic, almost kind of armored, but also a little bit of clothy look to them. So there's 2 shoulders to get for the price of 1. Outside of that though, there's also a variety of other rewards that are coming back this time around, from the Heartseeker Mana Ray, which is going to cost you a pretty penny with the love tokens. We have the Heartseeker Moth Pet. If you're into pets, that's another one. Bunch of toys like Eyes for You, Exquisite Love Boat, Date Modulator, but also a bunch of mocks that you can get with lovely dresses as dinner suits, and another love boat that you can get, romantic panic baskets, the Swift Lovebirds, which was added way back in the day, so it's an opportunity if you've never gotten these things to also be able to get them as well. And that's one of the few vendors with lovely prizes and heirlooms. But if you go over to the other side, on the Horde side, it will be kind of across the vendor on the Horde side, there'll be another vendor that sells a handful of other items. Normally they're just novelties that are usable during the event, but there's just an extra toy for the Sturdy Loveful, which is a training dummy that you can place on the ground, and it's just an extra training dummy toy to add to your collection, though it does have a unique appearance, and it's only available during the holiday, and it's also going to cost you a pretty penny with those love tokens. Now when it comes to actually trying to go after these rewards, first I want to go over the mounts, and so far based on what everybody else has said so far, because the holiday is brand new, it is available just now with all the new additions, but it looks like both of the mounts you can get only from the dungeon that you get to queue up during the holiday, which is the Crown Chemical Co. dungeon. It's a single boss encounter, but instead of just one boss, it's more like a council fight with 3 bosses in one. You queue up, start the encounter, slay them very quickly, and that's it. You get to loot the box, the heart-shaped box at the end of it, and when you open it, there's a chance for you to be able to get the mount. Now the new mount, the Sweeper box, apparently based on a GM response to one of the players, apparently this is a one-time chance a day to be able to loot this item. Every time, every single new day after the reset, when you log in on a character and you run the dungeon and you open up the heart-shaped box, you have a chance of obtaining this mount, but only the first time on your first character. So you don't necessarily have to spam it, or I guess you can't really spam for it on multiple characters. afterwards. And for now, we don't necessarily know the drop rate of the Love Witch's Sweeper mount, the Broom mount, but I have been seeing quite a few players running around with it. Not everybody, but it does seem to have a higher drop rate than the Heartbreaker, which is still available. Also earned through the same way, also from the heart-shaped boxes, but this one functions a little bit different. Whereas the Broom is a one-time attempt a day, this one gives you a slightly higher chance to earn the first time on a character, and then a very, very tiny amount, but spammable across all of your alts. Though this is a very, very rare amount to collect. But over the last few expansions, they've restructured how many characters and what types of characters can actually attempt for this mount, since even level 10 characters can mount up on flying mounts. All of those characters at level 10 and above are technically eligible for the Heartbreaker mount. So if you have an army of alts, you can technically endlessly spam for this mount, but the drop rate on this thing is incredibly low. So if you are going to be going for it this time around, good luck. You have 2 weeks, and hopefully you do get to add this one to your collection. Outside of this, all the other rewards that you could purchase are all purchased with a currency of love token, which has been adjusted by quite a bit. The love token currency is now a war bound currency, which means you can now drop it. It's not technically a currency that goes in your currency tab, although I wish it was, but it is an item that now goes in your bag that can be put on your warbound bank, and then your characters can access it from the warbound bank. So if you technically play a bunch of characters and you could do a bunch of dailies and even the story quest line, get a bunch of love tokens, all of those characters can contribute towards you being able to buy more items on these vendors. This is pretty massive because it allows us to do very, very little during this event to be able to buy up just about every single reward that is available. So if you want to get it done all in a single sitting, you technically could if you have a small army of alts by your side to be able to run through all the quests and dailies. Now, there's multiple different ways for you to be able to get the love token on a character. The first one is to do the main story quest line for the event, which at the end of the entire run, it'll have you finish out by killing the boss in the dungeon. It'll have you awarded with 140 tokens for the entire thing. The questline itself isn't even that long. Most of the questline is going to happen either in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and then a little bit in Silverpine Forest, then you queue for a dungeon and you're done. It also has a one-time warband bonus, where the first time you do it on a character, it's going to award you more tokens than before, about 140 at the end of the entire questline. But any subsequent ones you do on any of your alts, it's about 65 tokens for the entire thing. But it continues to drop those tokens for every one of those characters, so technically you could spam through it on multiple alts. Another way is to do dailies within the Gala grounds outside of Stormwind or outside of Orgrimmar. And these dailies will rotate, like the name implies, every single day. Sometimes you'll get the quest line to go into the Scenic Gateway portal to do some kind of a quest or some kind of an objective, or maybe you'll be talking to one of the NPCs around the main Gala grounds and getting one of their daily quests available for the night, and you'll be able to get one of the daily quests available, which are usually pretty easy to do and are usually local within like the Elven Forest or the Juratar area. And every single one of those dailies is going to drop you roughly 10 tokens per daily. At least the first time you do it on a character, and your subsequent dailies you do it, it does seem to be reduced by half for every other character during the next day. So there's a pretty decent bonus for a warband on the first character that you do it, and you can farm it out on other alts, but there's not as much of a gain afterwards. The dungeon itself with the heart-shaped boxes will always award you between 5 and 10, even on subsequent runs, but that's also an opportunity for you to get a little bit extra tokens. Donating to the Gala of Gifts, especially if you donate 10,000 gold at once, is going to earn you 10 extra tokens. So from the daily activities that you can participate in, between the dungeon, between the actual dailies and the donations, you can get anywhere between 35 to 41 additional tokens outside of the main quest, with those values also being slightly reduced if you do it on subsequent runs, like if you want to do those dailies on multiple characters. But they are technically farmable, so you can continue to do them on as many characters as you want to, with all those characters contributing those love tokens as a war-bound currency to then spend on any one of your alts. But if you want to know the best way to actually farm out these tokens and get a ton of them very, very quickly, I tried all the methods, and I noticed that just doing the main quest line and focusing on that to do it as quickly and efficiently as possible is actually the best method to get a ton of love tokens. Every single one of the quests are fairly quick. They only take a few minutes of your time, but after a handful of minutes and a handful of attempts, you are going to be left with hundreds of these tokens at a time. And these can be incredibly good if you play multiple alt characters, with these quests being accessible by most characters of almost any level, so you should be able to get them done very quickly, even if you don't have a lot of max level alts. But that is how I found, like, if you have about an hour to spend and you have a bunch of alts that you want to spam through these, you'll be surprised with just how many love tokens you get at the end of it, so you can purchase literally everything that is available during this event. Technically, you can go slow, like if you don't play multiple alts, don't worry, there's still that decent warband bonus. So if you just want to play one character in this expansion, or maybe just a handful, and you don't want to spam through these storylines on multiple characters, you don't technically have to. But if you're trying to get all these done in a single sitting, then this would be actually the best way to do it, is just to spam through all of these main quests as quickly as possible. But with that, as always, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching, and hope you guys did enjoy this quick little update. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like. I would very much appreciate it. Join our Discord community where we go over all of the newest updates regarding WoW, regarding live servers or PTR realms, which are hopefully going to be rolling out with 11.1 sometime, releasing hopefully very soon. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.